G'day, I'm Lukey, and I'm a Streamaholic.
Hello, I'm the Warship, and I'm a Streamaholic.
Hi guys, that was a bit of a long pause there at the end there, I was waiting for it. How are we all? Welcome to Streamaholics episode 12. Warship. The Warship. How we go, mate?
It's me. Hey, I'm doing really well. Welcome in, everybody. It's me. I look way smaller today than usual. What have we done? This is strange. I don't know if I like it. But it's fine.
Makes me look like a giant, which I am definitely not.
Okay. There we go. We're back. I think I was just on the wrong screen. How are we doing? Thank you so much for coming by, everybody. Lukey, what's going on with you today?
Well, not much. Just working, mate. Just hanging out, waiting for the podcast to start tonight as usual. It's always a good way to kick off the weekend with the Streamaholics podcast.
We're always so very well prepared.
Yeah, but I think it's good. I hope everyone enjoys it. But like we've been having some fun, having some chats every Friday, even with our lack of preparedness.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We get to Friday and we're like, oh my god, there's so much has happened. I have to tell each other, and but then we forget to, and we just show up 5 minutes before it starts. We're like, oh well, bollocks.
Yeah. What are we doing tonight?
Yeah. But that's fine. It works. It works.
It works. It's always a banger show. It's always the best show ever every week. We outdo the show previous.
Yeah. Now everyone's better than the last one, and that's good. That's what we want to be doing. So, yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today. A whole lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, thanks guys. Cheers for joining. Thanks for all the comments, everyone that's joined in so far in the chat there. Good to see you hanging out. So make sure you keep in touch with us throughout the stream. We'll do our best to try and keep an eye on chat as well too, and bring you into the conversation when we can. So it's all good. Loving it.
Yeah, we can't always obviously totally interact with the chat because it is supposed to be more of a podcast format. So for anyone who's used to my streams where I stop everything all of the time just to talk to you guys, it's a little bit different than that. We will say hello where we can. We will wave where we can. And when it comes down to it, when we get to the questions section, be prepared. Ask some questions. We'd love to hear from you. But we won't get to them until it's question time. So feel free now if you have any stream-related questions or industry-related questions that you'd like to get our perspectives on, please start writing them in there now, and we'll get to it when it's time. Yeah,
for sure. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the chat, actually, when people do send through their questions. Wow, thanks Decepticons for the raid.
There.
Hello
there. Welcome in there, guys. Thank you very much for the massive raid. Yeah, we're just getting started, so you're coming at exactly the right time.
Yeah, it's perfect timing. We haven't even dropped one opinion yet, so that's why there's still some people in chat.
All right. I very much so appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. Sit back and relax. Grab yourself a drink. We've usually got a drink on hand. I don't know if you've got a drink tonight, Chippy.
You should see my drink.
What are you drinking tonight?
This is my drink. This one here. This is my drink. It's called Gangster Vodka.
Really? Does it come with a straw, or it's just like, I can see the cap on the end.
Yeah, you just got to drink it this way.
That's neat.
But I've got it in a cup, so I don't need to drink it that way.
You're probably going to need to do this when you're drinking that over here on Twitch. Like,
yeah.
Suspect.
So, thankfully, I've got a cup for that.
Yeah, cool. Nice. You don't want to get Game On Aus taken off the air because we're having a good time.
No. It's not too bad. It's a pretty decent little drop, though. The vodka itself is less than awesome until you've had a few, and then, like all vodka, it becomes amazing. So
yeah, nice. Like a lot of alcohol, actually.
Yeah.
So tonight, did I ask you how your week was going too? By the way, how's your week going, Shippy? Did I ask that? I didn't ask that, did I? I just asked.
It's okay, we're not sleeping, that's fine. The baby's here. Doing some more stuff in the gym now, getting back on our feet a little bit more, and we're about to do the office build this weekend. So
sweet.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Full on, mate, full on.
Absolutely. So yeah, I guess let's get into the meat of things we have to talk about today.
Yeah.
Today we have a few pretty interesting topics. Just as a quick go around, we've got DrDisrespect, we've got the Streamlabs new donation feature, and we've got the good old follow-up talk about OnlyFans. A bit of an update on that one. So
I figured since we've been talking about it, we seem to always get onto the topic of OnlyFans, even if it's not a part of our rundown. So I figured we should probably give everyone an update on what's been going on, since there has been some news. But we'll start with the DrDisrespect, because everyone wants to know what's going on with the doc, and I'm sure everyone's been across it. The news coming out this week, as we know, DrDisrespect was banned from Twitch in June last year. Just suddenly was just gone, erased from Twitch's memory, and there was no news on why he was banned, and he took a bit of a break and ended up on YouTube. And it's been a big question in the gaming community and in the streaming community in particular, obviously, about why he's been banned. And there's been a lot of rumors about all of the bad things that he could have done to get taken off Twitch. I thought I had heard a couple of months ago that his team had started to start legal proceedings against Twitch for his ban. Turns out that must have been true. DrDisrespect on his stream about 2 or 3 days ago, right at the very end of his stream, dropped or started talking about the Twitch ban, probably for in-depth, or not in-depth, he didn't go right into the details, but he allowed some details to slip out, probably for the first time since he's been on YouTube, and was willing to speak about it. And so if I can get down to what he actually said.
I mean, let's quickly, before we do that, let's go here. I'll put my radio voice on. The original statement at the time of the ban. So when Twitch originally banned DrDisrespect, what they said was, oh, you're a bit blurry again. As is our process, we have taken appropriate action when we have evidence that a streamer has acted in violation of our community guidelines or terms of service. These apply to all streamers, regardless of status or prominence in the community. So that is just a really big nothing paragraph. Like, it literally doesn't say anything about anything. So it's super vague even to begin with.
Yeah. And so it just started a whole rumor mill at the time, and he was pretty quiet on it. So it allowed the rumors to kind of circulate that, there was rumors about maybe there was some private things going on that Twitch wasn't happy about. Yeah. That sort of plays on some of his other indiscretions in the past that people know about from his private life. But there was also he'd been talking to rival streaming companies, and that was against his T's and C's, and all sorts of different things. But in the end, we don't know. It kind of went away after a little while. It hung around for a bit. People wanted to know for probably a good 6 months, but since then it's kind of gone a bit quiet until he started talking about it just a couple of days ago. And the quotes here, just to paraphrase, because I don't want to read this whole article here that I've got in front of me from Kotaku, but to paraphrase, he was basically talking about the amount of money that he's lost since going to YouTube in terms of his annual sort of income, and I think he said something about he's sitting at about a quarter or a third of what he used to take in from being on Twitch. And the main thing that's been affecting him is the fact that because there hasn't been any announcement of why he was banned from Twitch's point of view, they didn't come forward with anything and didn't want to speak about it for whatever reasons, and for whatever reason he decided not to speak about it too. So it's also on his part there, but maybe he knew that there was potential for legal proceedings, so didn't want to say anything. But effectively, because it's not been explained to the public when he got banned, then he's saying that big companies, like, he got all these sponsors, withdrew, and then came back again slowly. But he's saying that some of the stuff that he had in the works, and bigger companies, like, he used the example of, like, Nike wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, so because they don't know why he got banned, so they don't want to, so a huge company in the world, using Nike as an example, is going to throw millions of dollars at DrDisrespect for some sort of collaboration, when they could do that, and then a week later news comes out that he did this horrible thing. So no one's been wanting to touch him in that sort of sense, and that's been his main sort of thing that he's been worried about, or it's been affecting him.
you have to think about it is that when it all sort of dropped for him, it was right in the middle of the speaking out / Me Too sort of resurgence movement, like the new version of it that came through last year. Because there was already obviously the Me Too the year before, but then last year there was speaking out, and that one was also quite big. And it was affecting a lot of content creators, like Pro Jared as an example, who was later cleared, but it affected a lot of streamers, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of content creators in general. So obviously, if you're Nike, if you're whoever you may be, and you're looking at all of a sudden the biggest on the platform is gone, like one of the biggest, like top 3 biggest guys on the platform, it's just all of a sudden gone. You're like, well, what the he do on here to make this happen? You know, what has he done? We can't trust him with this. Like, this is it's a fair assumption, because at the end of the day, if it comes out that he's a rapist or something later on, that's bad news for Nike. You have to be able to take that step and say, well, unless we know, we can't really do anything about it, you know. So I understand their position on it. I think it's the right position. But again, all of this would have been fixed if there was a bit of transparency. Like if Twitch had said so, or if DrDisrespect was able to say so, for whatever reason, I feel like the whole thing would be different. But no one's been able to talk about it. So
I wonder if we're going to actually hear about it, or whether there's going to be some NDAs thrown in with their legal proceedings and we never find out.
It'll either go one of 2 ways. So if it goes to court, then it will have to be spoken about. But if they settle outside of court,
that's
then
NDAs might come in.
never have to mention it again. So if I don't know, this is just my current kind of random guesswork, but would you say it's fair to assume that DrDisrespect at the height of his Twitch streaming was comparable to, say, Belle Delphine on her current trajectory on our OnlyFans website? Would you say that's probably a fair estimation?
Well, it feels like it. I don't know much about how big she is compared to that platform, but I know the name, so that's telling you something. I just wanted to give like a bit of reference here is that as a point of reference, she recently came out and said that she was on about $1 million a month with OnlyFans. That's before sponsorship, that's before anything else. So if you consider that even that alone, if that's comparable to DrDisrespect's income on a monthly basis, then that's a big hit straight off the bat. Like $1 million for anybody a month is too much money, but it's a lot of money. And then you add in sponsorships, you add in a bunch of other stuff that you can do, and then new future business deals as well. And there's no doubt that it would be a third of his income. And obviously, you know, if he's been making good money for a long time, he probably doesn't necessarily need the money. But it's a lot of money, and it's something that I feel he's owed, you know, for the work he did and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure he does too. So I think he has a right to be upset. That being said, I do reserve the right that if it comes out that this was about something horrible, that no, he's a huge piece of shit and we hate him here. If it turns out that he was just, he's just broken some T's and C's, and they probably should have just, like, you know, say the rumor is true that he was, I don't know, they found out that he had a meeting, a sit down with Facebook or Mixer or whatever it was, and that was against T's and C's, because he had just announced like an exclusivity to Twitch at the time, not long before that. So maybe they signed that, and then that meant that the new deal meant he wasn't allowed to speak to him at all. If that's the case, then that's something that he probably has maybe a leg to stand on in a sense of, like, they should have made it public, because companies like Nike and that aren't likely to stand off him if it's just something like that.
No, well, you wouldn't care, would you?
No.
Like, if it was just a matter of like, oh, he broke a contract, a verbal agreement between Twitch and himself, like, that's different. Like, totally different to what else it could be potentially. So I think it's important that we find out before we really pass too much judgment. But
100%.
At the same time, now we will hopefully find out.
I mean, I know it's up to them, and if there is a settlement, I think there's probably more chance of there being a settlement than anything. If I'm just I don't know nothing, but like, I feel like there's more chance of them just settling and say, here's like $10 million, go away kind of thing. Because it's,
I mean, particularly if it's a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, if it's something minor that has actually cost him, and they're like, if it is something like speaking to the opposition, I can see a settlement where Twitch is like, here's $10 million, but here's also an NDA. Let's never speak about this, because I think the egg will be on their face if it's something like that, like, yeah, fairly minor. Because he had like, I remember last year there was announcements that he had signed on to do an animated show based on his character with him.
Yes,
and so none of that too. That's obviously, I feel like that's gone out the window. I haven't heard anything since his Twitch ban. So it's deals like that where he was probably on the verge and probably a good chance of being one of those creators that could really well and truly break out of the whole Twitch bubble and into the mainstream with other projects, just purely based on the character.
That feels very reminiscent of when PewDiePie copped the big ban himself and lost Disney, because there was a point there where he was working for Disney and he had his own service set up as well as a way to give back to creators and things like that too.
Yeah, okay.
With what was it called? D-Live, I think it was called. That was actually him and a couple of other creators who'd made that, and that all went out the window. His deal with Disney and his deal with his Scare PewDiePie, his YouTube Red show, all of that got cancelled and dropped off the face of the planet.
Yeah, right. I'd seen that there was no more of that.
Because of the inappropriate stuff that he said on the bridge, for those who know. So yeah, honestly, looking at the situation, it seems similar, like in the sense that like he seems to have copped the same sort of ostracization. Now whether that's a byproduct of what happened to PewDiePie, and it's just become like a general kind of a blanket statement, you know, like if you are bad, then you lose everything, you know, across the board. Or whether it's something more. I mean, we might find out, we might not. But there is a good point made in the chat there that if it was criminal charges, we probably would have heard about it by now. But again, with NDAs and with how big Twitch is, because remember, it's not Twitch, it's Amazon. Like at the end of the day, if Amazon want to keep something under wraps, there's got to be some skeletons in that closet. Like it's going to be kept under wraps. With one of their biggest creators as well. Like, imagine if, like, you know, theoretically, and obviously this is not real, but imagine if, like, Ninja killed someone accidentally. You know, that would be under wraps. I guarantee you, brushed under the carpet. Like, that. If they had a way to stop it, it'd be stopped. So you have to wonder whether or not, you know, whether or not it will be criminal charges or not. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd have to assume, since it's the Doc's legal team that's starting proceedings against Twitch for loss of income, I'd have to assume, I think, that it's not something that he's worried about getting out into the public. So I'd say it's like not something like he's abused someone. It's not a sexual assault claim. It's not he didn't use a racial slur or anything like that. Like, I'd have to assume that it's nothing that's going to reflect badly on his company and his persona. Otherwise, even though he's got the persona, but otherwise he would probably just accept the ban and move on to YouTube and try and pretend that didn't happen and move on, I think.
So why be so silent about it then? That's my question. Like, everyone's saying that it's likely to be contractual rather than criminal, and I do agree, but why not just say that? Why not just clear that up so that DrDisrespect can go on and continue to get his sponsors and continue to get his deals and all that kind of stuff? Why not let him just go back into the world and do his thing? You know, yes, you have an obligation contractually, but surely if that's all it was, he would just say, bruh, like, you know, there's nothing wrong here. I've done nothing wrong. Like,
if he only did find out, like, say a couple of months ago, he said a couple of months ago, so you're talking like maybe 2 months ago. And if I'm pretty sure I read an article somewhere that said that he was suing Twitch like a couple of months ago. So maybe he, as soon as he did find out, immediately did start legal proceedings. So it might be just the first time he's spoken about it. So I don't know. It's been interesting to see. So
do you think he literally didn't know until now? Like, do you honestly think that? Because if I lost my job that was paying me $11 million a year, and they just didn't tell me why, I would positively had the lawyers straight on their back. Like there wouldn't have even been a second thought. Like,
I reckon he probably, if they didn't tell him immediately, that he would have had to have thought about it and gone, it's likely to be one of these couple of things. Like, that's the only thing I can think of that they could have sacked me for, and then was maybe waiting because those two things might have both meant legal proceedings potentially. So he might have just sat on it until he got official word from them. And then when he got official word, and he might have already known it's probably this thing, but they just won't tell me. But it just seems so strange that you wouldn't have told him to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he might have known the whole time as well, but can't say. But at the same time, like, if he couldn't say and he's losing, like, legit sponsors, like, say, for example, Nike, like, what do? Do you send them a private DM and be like, nah, it's okay, seriously, baby, it's all right. Just give me a minute, you know, I'll be back there soon. Like, do you just tell them that, like, just hold off on it for now?
Yeah.
Later, sexy time, but for now, pretend like you hate me. Like, is that what you do? Or, like, yeah, it just doesn't make too much sense for me. Like, the original ban last year, like, obviously, it was early last year, wasn't it? It wasn't late last year. I feel like
I read June.
Yeah, okay, so midway through last year. So that's a long-ass time to be losing that kind of money.
Yeah.
Like, a long time to not have said anything at all
and he had
just
like
copped it.
He had like 2 or 3 months off too. Like, that would have been zilch, nothing at that point.
Yeah. But again, at the same time, like, he would definitely not need it, especially if he was making even approaching that money that I was speaking about before. It just seems like a lot of money to just leave in the wind there. But yeah, there's another point there too, actually. Whitworth saying that, like, there is also the chance that by not saying anything, it makes him more in the media's eye. It makes him more relevant to the current climate, and gives him more energy when he comes back. That definitely makes sense, because when he came back, that was huge. What did he have? I think he had was 600,000 people in his stream on his first stream back. I think that was what it was. I think it was over 500,000. I think. Or it could have been over 150,000. I forget. But either way, like, it was like a lot of people. A lot of people. I forget how much it made. It made a lot of money, though. Like, have a look while you talk. Value.
It was huge. I don't know what to say now.
No, it was. The first stream back ended up racking up 7.2 million viewers. So that's overall viewers.
Overall views, yeah.
And it's just a lot of money. It's just a lot of money. I just remember it being a lot of money, a huge amount of money. 388,000 concurrent views it had.
Yeah, right. That's
so
huge,
like an
pretty big
average viewership of nearly 400,000 people.
And so he probably is like spewing like a move to YouTube without the drama, like just I'm going to go sign with them, would have been huge for him in terms of like working with those big companies that know the YouTube system. But since he's had to be forced to make that move and then can't lure in the big sponsors because of the deal's a bit of a shame. Like you said, he's not worried about money at this point. He's starting a game development company. I saw that last week.
Yeah. So that's interesting as well.
He wants to make his own games so that he doesn't have to play other people's games.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's smart. Like, a lot of creators are actually doing stuff like that too. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, you know, like moving into like the gaming scene itself so that you can actually capitalize on that. But yeah, I don't know. It still smells fishy to me. I don't know why, but there's something about it that's just not quite right. Whether it is just a media ploy, because it could be. You know, they could have settled already about this stuff and just said, you know, let's just build this up for a bit, get some more viewership to Twitch, get some more viewership to you, and then we'll go from there. Like, that's not outside the realm of possibility either.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I hope we do find out like the reason, or at least like some sort of an explanation, like when they've settled even. Like, I don't know, they can't just leave us hanging forever. It'll eventually come out.
Well, you think about, like, you know, your underpants streamers and everything, all the stuff that's recently happened there, and how easily that was blown under the rug. You know, like, it can't have been worse than farting into the microphone. It can't have been worse than nibbling the microphone's ears. Like, it can't have been. Like, it just, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
that's why the whole like exclusivity contract, and then the rumors that one of the rumors was talking to an opposition. Like, that's why I feel like there's something in there. Like, but then if you've just signed an exclusivity deal, well, like, surely you know that you've just signed that, so you can't talk to anyone, or maybe that's why he's suing.
You've invested in them, you know what I mean? Like, surely you've invested in that company. You're like, yeah, let's go, full steam ahead, all that kind of stuff. Like, surely if you've had an exclusivity contract set up, you're like, let's go. I know that's what YouTubers say, so let's go, baby, and all of that kind of stuff. And you're all on board and you're all working towards the same thing. Like, why would you then all of a sudden go, oh, you know what, maybe I'll just go speak to Facebook? Like, You know, maybe I go do that. That doesn't make sense. I just don't understand it. But at the same time, maybe we're not supposed to at this level. You know what I mean? Maybe we're just not supposed to.
And then from Twitch's point of view, like, what do you like if it's, I don't know, if it's something like a minor not a minor indiscretion, but something that broke his contract. He was supposedly just flat out banned and not told. So
yeah,
like there's that's weird too. Like coming from the Twitch point of view, like why would you would as Twitch supposedly think that something really bad went down for you to drop like your third biggest
bad
performer.
Enough to drop the big dog, like honestly, like one of the biggest three there, like, and like, because you know you see it all the time. Like, what was the thing with Alinity, like kicking a cat or whatever? Like, you know, no permanent ban there. Getting her tit out on stream, no ban there. Like more than one indiscretion still on the platform. You know, like, and you think about one thing from this guy with his glasses on was enough to get him perma kicked. Like, what was
so
it?
Many things. So many things. So many reasons why it's so weird that we haven't heard anything yet. 12 months later. Like 14 months later.
It's super sketchy. Like, just the fact that there's been like we've seen it here. Like, I've got a friend who was perma banned, and he only just made affiliate because his name is Sperm of Zeus. Like, so he had been an affiliate on the for a little while. I'd say probably 6 months. And he was banned from the platform without any recourse to come back. Now, he's a perfectly chilled, real fun dude, nothing explicit on his stream at all. In fact, it's super artsy. He has like, he had a proper designer make a painting of him doing like the finger in the clam, except instead of being like a full like Greek god, it goes to his face and then becomes like a white tail. Like, there's like, It's really, really like schmick. Like, it looked good, and his content was like pure and sweet and innocent. And all he did was play games like Farming Simulator and Mud Runner and shit like that. Like, there was nothing bad at all.
Just because of the name.
But permabanned, just because of the name. And now he's back on the platform with a 5 instead of an S. Like. but he legitimately took 3 months off, was probably never going to come back to stream until I spoke to him about it, and I was like, no, you really should, because you're good at this. But he can't even get into conversation with them about it. He can't even say, hey, why have I been banned? Please let me appeal. Every time he's tried to appeal, 0 response. So how can someone like that, who literally has done nothing wrong, in the same vein as we don't know what DrDisrespect did wrong, yet old mate can kick her cat around and no trouble. Like, you know, a slap these ones. Go get yourself a few days break, go get your face done, get some nails, come back, easy peasy. Like, you know, like, that's not fair. That's not fair. It's not fair. You take a few days off, have a holiday. Have a holiday. That's
what it is.
Forget your boobs out.
And some PR.
But permaban other people. But permaban other people. Like, it just it doesn't make sense. And again, that's what falls here with this thing too, like with the DrDisrespect thing, because it's like, explain. You have to. We have to know something. Like, I think as a community, and this whole, there's Twitch do better and all the hate raids, and there's just so many little things right now with Twitch that are really starting to just not make sense and not add up. You know, we've spoken at length about financials on here. We've spoken at length about visibility on here. And yes, all those things are problems. All those things suck a big old weenus. But the thing now is it's starting to affect other things too, like, you know, inconsistent bans and this massive influx of follow bots and hate raids and just in general trolls, like, which we haven't seen on the platform in a very, very long time. Like, it's just thing after thing after thing at the moment, and a lot of people are fed up. So yeah, it makes sense to be fed up. Sue the fuck out of them. Go do it. I want to see what happens.
I reckon that's another reason why I reckon it might be settled, because I reckon if it's, depending on what the actual thing is, if he legitimately sues them and they go through with the court proceedings and he wins a case, that just opens the floodgates to other
How
creators.
many people will go?
Yeah.
Every person who's ever been wrongfully banned from this platform has a leg to stand on.
Especially the bigger ones with some money for the legal proceedings, because obviously he's going up against Amazon and oh, pardon me, and presumably a really, really good legal team or expensive legal team. He's going to want to come to the party too. So,
I mean, I'm sure he's got the money to hire probably the same team if he'd like. But yeah, like in honesty,
I'd like to see him represent himself in a court of law and put that shit on TV.
just comes out like, not guilty. But no, yeah, honestly, I'm interested to see what happens from here. I really, really am. I do hope that we get a resolution that we'll at least find out what it was.
Yeah.
But even if we don't, like, you know, some kind of justice, because right now we're really struggling with justice on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, we are really struggling to get justice. A lot of people are feeling like they're not getting any of it. A lot of people are not getting any support when they need it. A lot of people we're really just asking for a bit of help, you know, like, and it's just not happening. So I'm glad that it's happening.
I don't like the chances. To me, if he's decided to sue, it's something that he's willing to let people know about. So I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to hurt or tarnish his name. And that's why I reckon it's going to settle, because Twitch is going to... They don't want egg on their face for permabanning someone for something that was maybe contractual, when they can't permaban and fix the other problems with the people that are actually still on the platform. Because that will not be good. I reckon it's settling out of court and we won't find out. Damn it. More money
than Ninja got for coming back?
Yeah, probably. Amazon will probably step in and cover the cost on this one. It won't be leave Twitch to it.
He got 30 million to come back to after Mixer. I wonder if he'll get more. Because it's 14 months now. That's a good, if it is what I thought before I had a rough projection, that's 14 million straight off the bat, and then you add in sponsors and stuff like that, it could be as high as 50, like,
yeah, realistically.
Because, you know, I know that, like, for entry level sponsorships like NordVPN, I think around 40k if you're a decent enough streamer. And there'd be heaps of those he would have, and he would be asking top dollar for all of them, like not even entry level for all of them. So yeah, it really, really, really interesting. Really keen to see how it goes from here as well.
And that could have been a reason why he held off on the proceedings too. Maybe he was part of his gathering his case was trying to work out how much money he was losing, so he needed to be doing it for a while now and sort of get a picture of, I'm doing the same as what I was before, and now I've got a 6 month picture of exactly how much money less I'm making, therefore they know how much to go and ask for, and they've got evidence of how much he's lost and all that sort of thing. It'll be interesting to see, like, honestly, like, at this point, like, I don't know, we can't really add too much to it, you know, because we've kind of covered how it goes from here, but it's a lot of information to process and no information at the same time, because we don't know what happened. All we know is that something big happened. So so that's sort of, I would say, one thing. That's that one. The next piece of news that we've got here is that Streamlabs launches a new way to tip streamers after Twitch sub price changes, and of course the whole 50-50 split thing that's always been a thing with Twitch. So Streamlabs is launching what they're calling creator subscriptions. So when you go and tip through someone's Streamlabs link now, you can, if they've got because you can, as a creator, you can toggle this on and off as to whether you want it or not. But now when you go through to the donation section of someone's Streamlabs page to donate through Streamlabs, you'll have the option of subscribing or putting a monthly donation in, just like a subscription on Twitch, which I believe, I'm sure I read this before, that they're not going to take a cut of this at all. That's the way they're going to try and get people to use it. I did read that too. Yeah, so it's kind of like the way Facebook isn't taking any cuts from subscriptions over there. So if you can convince your tribe to subscribe through the Streamlabs link, you know, you can see better return on investment. Is this a Prime feature, or is this a regular feature? Oh, see, I didn't read that as to whether you have to be a Prime user to access that as a creator. Is that what you mean? Yeah, because honestly, like, didn't say that. Like, I've ranted before about Prime in the past. Like, that's obviously a big crutch to new creators. I know there are a few people in the chat now who use Streamlabs, especially when they first got up, but then found that everything was locked behind a paywall. And when you're not making enough money to actually get a payout from Twitch, the last thing you want is to pay them like $20 a month or whatever it is.
just to get access to that. You're just losing money at this point, and that's really, really stupid. Like, it's not. We as creators, we can't do that. Like, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether it is behind that paywall or not. I haven't seen anything to suggest that it is, though.
You don't have to be a Prime member to receive donations now through Streamlabs, do you?
No, you don't, but it might be toggled under a Prime
maybe.
Setting as well.
The article didn't say anything about that. I think it was a Streamlabs article too. Hang on. No, it was just...
I'll do some investigation on my own side.
It was Dexerto. See how much information that we get across, guys. We do all of this on the fly.
Oh yeah, I'll do a little bit of my own research there, but it's interesting because it's like, so for example, when you go into a stream and you're like, bruh, I really like this person, I want to support them, you can, rather than go through and click subscribe, we can encourage people to say, all right, well then, instead of clicking subscribe, click through to the tips section here in my chat below, or there could even be a plugin, I assume, made for Twitch for it. Click the plugin, take you there, and it comes up looking the same as a normal donation, except it gives you the option there to have it as a monthly tip. And then once a month it'll just come out automatically, and honestly, for me, that is amazing. Like, that's good. That, if I consider my current earnings through Twitch, if literally everybody who subscribed didn't subscribe and rather went through that tipping system, we'd be laughing on a month-to-month basis. Like, that'd be enough to keep my family safe, you know? It really, really would. But that being said, you're in a really awkward situation where you don't get gifted subs anymore. Someone has to literally $50 bomb you, you know? And that's different. Yeah. Giving $50 to a stream as opposed to giving 5 subs, something feels different about that, and it feels a lot more awkward and a lot less cool, and you don't get emotes for it. That's the other thing too. So what I think will end up happening is this will become an ancillary thing. So people will be like, yeah, cool, I'll subscribe, but also because I support this guy, I'll go tip, and I'll tip it on a monthly basis. I won't even think about it, and we'll just tip an amount, whatever the amount is. I'll just go and tip it. I don't think it will replace subscriptions.
No, because it'll take a little while to get into the culture of Twitch that most people are using this system. At the moment, the probably small percentage of people that are going to try and push all of their subs through there. If you come into a community like that, you're probably going to find it a bit weird, or maybe not even know how to subscribe. Like, someone would have to, who's got an existing community already, that would have to say, hey guys, we're going to switch subscriptions over here. What mods, we're going to be onto this, and I'm actually going to delete subscriptions on Twitch. And so I'll have you have to have things popping up in the corner of your stream saying this is how you subscribe to this channel. Maybe a thing popping up in your chat saying this is why we use that system, because it supports the creator and not the platform more.
I mean, is that any different to Patreon then? You know,
it's the same as Patreon. You can set your own tiers as well in there, which is interesting. I was trying to find out whether you could do things like Patreon, where you can have special things for people that are on different tiers, and give them stuff in return, kind of like the Go Legends Club. Not Patreon, but different, goes through our website. Legends Club. But as a side note, going back to what we're talking about before, if anyone wants to donate me $50 straight out, I'll happily accept that. No problems whatsoever. No shame.
I do enjoy currency. I definitely am a fan of dollary dues. I do like them quite a bit. But it does really beg that question though, because it becomes a much more personal thing. You know, it becomes instead of someone dropping 10 subs, that's $100. And someone just deciding to throw $100 at you is totally different to someone deciding to drop 10 subs to you. And it's a bit of a culture shift for sure. That being said, though, as we've discussed recently, Twitch it's a very difficult place to make money. Whereas you have places like Facebook who don't take a cut at this stage at all. YouTube, which obviously the second you say anything silly, you will lose money anyway, or revenue will be demonetized. But it's all kind of much of a muchness until you kind of look at these ancillary payments anyway, you know, like your Patreon, you're now your OnlyFans. You know, most people who make a living off of this do end up doing one of those as well. You know, you see it all the time at the end of YouTube videos, thanks to our Patreons. You know, it wouldn't be like out of the realm of possibility for you and I to be saying that right now. You know, like, oh, we got a question from one of the Patreons here. Like, that's not outside the realm of possibility, because you kind of expect it, particularly with a podcast. So I think that if we treat this sub thing as an extra payment on top of what we're already doing, then it's fine. But I don't think we're in a position where people will remove their affiliate and then make people subscribe through this. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and because that won't be a thing that people will do, because it won't be a thing. I don't think the culture for that will catch on. It just means that not enough people are going to do it for it to catch on. So, yeah, it could be just an extra thing, because you'd have to get the culture to go back 2 years to when there was no gifted subs and you just subscribed or donated. So if you wanted to donate $50, you wouldn't gift $50 worth of subs. You just donate $50 or $50 worth of bits or whatever. It'd be trying to switch it back in time to that, which is good for the creator. So instead of gifting your subs, which, you know, gifted subs work in a way like you're hoping that 1 or 2 of those 10 that you just gifted might return next month. I'm not sure what the stats are on gifted subs and returning, like when they return. That'd be an interesting thing to find out, because potentially most of them don't sign up in the future anyway. Like I've always found it weird that you can get gifted a sub when you're not even in a chat. Like, I feel like it should be people that are present and watching that get gifted the sub, so they even know about it. Because I always get gifted the subs, and everyone does probably get gifted subs to channels you're not even watching or haven't been watching for a bit, or you just follow.
I mean, I got gifted subs recently to places I've banned. And nice. I've had to go in and I've had to go into my subscriptions and return it, like, myself. And that's actually return the subscription. I'm like, I'm not going to get this. I'm canceling it right now. But yeah, that's all you can do. You know, like you can literally get gifted subs for places you don't follow, places you ban. When I first started and I was going big nutso in the first couple of months there, where we had 200,000 bits in 1 month, and like, it was crazy. It was a crazy first month. Yeah. But in that first month, we had by the second month, I think I had 1,200 subscriptions.
Yeah.
And there were more people who were subscribed to the channel than were following. Like, I think I had 700 followers and about 1,200 subscribers.
Yeah, right.
So it was just pulling people. Like random people who had never been there before. Even people who weren't even connected to other communities, and just subscribing to them.
Really? So that's how it works. If you don't have enough followers or whatever, it just starts grabbing random people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it. But yeah, that's what it did at that point. So
interesting.
Yeah. I'm very much so intrigued to see what will happen from here. I don't think that, like I said, I don't think this will be the end, because at the end of the day, here's the other point to consider as well, is that what happens when Twitch notices that their subscriber list is going down? What happens when Twitch notices that people are tipping more, and then figures out why they're tipping more? Or, you know, I'm sure they know Streamlabs, they know who they are. What happens when someone in charge of PR or marketing sees this and goes, well, hang on a second, this is bad, because now we're losing half of our income here. Like, do you think that Twitch then will do better, like we've been asking them to do for months, or will they double down and make it even shitter? Like,
I think they will just probably do what they always do and just carry on, because they just seem to. I don't know. I think they're reluctant to cut any of their cut, or like reduce their take in anything, because they're in a period right now where they're trying to work out the ad system, and they can't work out how to be YouTube of ads. So they're like, let's make different forms of ads, so at least we can get more ads on the platform, because we need more profit, we need more moolah. Oh, we're not gonna reduce the amount of money that we take off of subscriptions. We're going to look worldwide, and we're going to base all the subscriptions on cost of living in those countries, which for different creators, it's going to be a bad thing, but for overall over the whole platform, we think that's going to make us more money. So I don't think they in any stage are going to reduce anything unless their PR gets so bad, and that's why they're supporting things like hashtag Twitch do better and stuff like that, and promoting that is probably the only way that Twitch probably ends up going, shit, we've got such a bad rep right now, it's been going on for so long and it just keeps on getting worse, we need a win, let's now make it 30% or something, like, let's do the change now.
Well,
I don't think it's going to be from Streamlabs.
No, I don't either. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but we're seeing a lot more shit stuff at the moment. Like, we really, really are. We're seeing a lot more in the way of like negativity. And with the Twitch Do Better thing, it's kind of just highlighted how not great the platform is right now and how in a bad spot it is right now. I've seen a drop. Like, I've seen a huge drop in my like general viewership, general satisfaction from people as well, because they'll come in and then there's always someone who's come in with a shit attitude, and no idea where it's come from, but it's hit even my community. It's hit, and my community is one of the most wholesome communities on the platform. We're at a spot now where I think, like it says, Twitch needs to start doing better. And whether that's on the financial side, because trust me, you make changes to the money in a positive way, you get all the support you need, because, you know, money talks. And at the end of the day, giving people more of it will make them work harder anyway. But yeah, I don't know. Something needs to change here. Because it's not in a good way right now.
It's just like I said the other week, that there was a chance there, instead of reducing the money per country, which I think in the long run was to help them out, because they predict that because they did surveys on it, and they think that X amount of people, more people are going to support in certain countries, and in the long run that's going to equal more money for them. So they were like, oh, we'll even cop like 12 months of everyone's loss of income for you while you get used to it. Because we think in the long run it's going to make us more money. Whereas they could have just gone, because I don't know if anyone was actually even asking for that really. As a viewer, I don't think there was like a big upheaval of viewers on the internet somewhere saying, I want to subscribe, but it's too expensive. Like, I don't think there was that going on, but there was the whole creator. There was the whole creator. They're taking too much of my money. Like, I'm doing all the work and they're getting half of it, and all these other platforms are better. Like, I feel like
it
at
was
that
us
point,
that was complaining.
instead of doing what they did, they could have at that point gone, well, if we're going to cop some money for a bit, rather than do it the other way, we could get a really good PR boost here if we did the change then and done the split differently, or maybe
increase the revenue share for the creator itself, rather than make it cheap all across the board. Make it better for the people who are creating.
But I think they just went through that big boom period when they've just gone and done the change. They've already gone through the boom. They're probably not expecting another boom like that soon.
Yeah.
And so I think that they probably would have thought, well, reducing our cut of the split isn't going to make us money. It's going to lose us money, and we can't see where we're going to recoup that money. So whereas doing it the other way, what they did, it's all about them making more money and like in the long run, because more people can subscribe. So
having more people on the platform is always going to be better for them, you know, because like we said before in the past as well, so many of my friends have been on the platform and they've quit because they haven't got what they wanted out of the platform. They've been disappointed by the platform, and now those ones, they never get that satisfaction, you know. Whereas this way, they guarantee that it will be all the suckers that will stay around anyway. Like, and that's really what it is. It's really just like taking us and like just accepting the fact that we'll always be there. And that's a bit shit too. Rather than sort of working with the content creators to make their world a better place, they're not doing that. They're just making the better place for themselves. And I can understand it as well, because this way they don't need to worry about like the future, because people will at least be subscribed. And they might say, oh, that's for the creators, you know. Now you can subscribe for cheaper. But it's really so that you get an extra 20 people who are on the platform for longer. Like, because they feel obligated to when they have their free subscription. But yeah, again, like it is what it is. I guess it's another one of those things we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, a whole lot of that's going to be more news for us next month or whenever. More content.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And what they do, they definitely do screw us, because they have said before, and I've had conversations on here about it before, is that the rev share in total that Twitch takes for Amazon is something like less than 1% of Amazon's total income. Like, it is not even a blip on their radar as far as their income goes. Like, they do not care about how much money they make on Twitch. So I don't understand, if they don't care, why they still need to do this, you know?
I think all they want is they want to make money off of it. They're obviously making some money off it. It's probably more the people that are running Twitch have to report back to Amazon every year and say, yeah, we're improving, we're making a little bit more money. Yeah. And that's what they're reluctant to make any cuts, because they don't want to go backwards in order to go forwards, because Amazon doesn't care about like one step backwards, 2 steps forwards. They just want 1 step forward every year. They don't care, or half a step forward every year. It's just, it feels like Twitch is it's a huge platform in the live streaming industry, but it's still such a niche platform, like in terms of the mainstream. And so they're trying to come up with ways to make it more and more mainstream, but they're finding it really hard. And this PR is not good for that, what they're trying to do.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. It just feels like some of the stuff we talked about last week with Devin Nash's opinions of the industry too, were just, it's more about Twitch making money no matter what and making cuts where they need to, but not really caring about, it's just there. It's a thing. It's making them money. They'll do some things to make it some more money, but it's not going to be what people, like some people in, like streamers and content creators are like, Twitch could be the next YouTube, but I don't think it will be. It can keep growing itself in its niche area, and it's probably going to keep getting bigger, and it's going to be better.
It'll never become like that big public presence.
It's not going to be that huge big thing like YouTube, you know, second biggest search engine in the world, only to second to Google, who owns YouTube. Like, it's not that.
Everyone uses YouTube. How many times do you go, well, how do I do this? Boom, YouTube. Like, you could do that here. There is definitely ways to do that here. There's ways to increase the platform's viability, but they don't. They don't, and it won't. It won't. So at the end of the day, that's what a lot of people are talking about, you know, Facebook gaming. A lot of people are talking about YouTube, and for the live streaming side of things as well, because I think people are just getting a little bit sick of the way that Twitch is currently handling all that Twitch does.
I actually don't think I mentioned this last week, and this is what I just remembered what my point was supposed to be when I started talking before. So Devin Nash's opinion of why Amazon bought Twitch whenever it was 5 years ago, was because they want to grow it, but they want to use it as a funnel through to Amazon Prime. That's why everything is starting to go through needing a membership through there. But he also said the reason why you can tell that they don't think Twitch is a long-term viable thing that Amazon's going to want to pour shitloads of money into is because there's a platform there, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it's an Amazon platform that they've used the technology from Twitch to use, where people can go and create their own live streaming website now. Yeah. So people could essentially go and create a competitor to Twitch. Obviously it won't compare to Twitch, it's your own little thing, but it's using the Twitch live streaming technology. And his opinion of it is that Amazon only purchased Twitch for the funnel of users through to Amazon Prime, and to use that technology to try and sell to bigger companies. Yeah. And because he said, what other platform do you know of that teaches somebody else how to make a replica, and away you go, without it affecting, without trying to bring them into Twitch? It was an interesting thought.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Absolutely. It's crazy. And like, that's what I was saying. Like, you know, as far as it goes, that's why people are getting a bit freaked out by it, because we don't feel like we matter. We don't feel like we're valued there. No. And it's just an example of that right now. And that's unfortunate. Like, it really, really is, because at the end of the day, I know people like myself, I put everything into this thing. Like, this is my sole focus. This is my 9 to 5. It's not a hobby for me. This is my job. Yeah. Like, I do this to feed my family. And I invest in it, and it would be really, really, really nice if it would invest in me. as a creator. And the thing that sucks about it is that it just doesn't at this point. And yeah, that's what I think everyone's getting mad about. That's what I think a lot of people are getting upset about. So,
yeah. Oh, good.
And with Netflix now moving into Netflix gaming as well, it'll be really interesting to see what happens there too. Because man, I love me some Netflix, and Netflix kind of loves me back. It always gives me things, except for canceling Hoops, which I hate that happen. But aside from that, like it loves me back. So
I reckon Netflix is too kind, because I'll be sitting there in the kitchen cooking up. No, I don't cook much. I'm doing the cleaning up or something, and Netflix is over here, and Netflix is like, hey, are you still watching me?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I'm still watching you. Now gotta find the remote, get the box off the screen. I'm watching that thing.
Hey, but they fixed that though. Did you see that? Now it's like, are you still watching? And then the question is, ask me again later, or no, I'm good, keep playing. And then if you don't choose ask me again later, it just plays forever. Like, so they've even fixed that.
So did you see the, we talked about the YouTube, the Netflix gaming thing. Did you know much about the two games they released?
No, what was it?
I should have read this article, but it wasn't part of my rundown. But it was, I think they've released two Stranger Things themed games on the platform, or are going to. Yeah, so I mean
that's big for them too. So I mean that opens up a whole bunch of cool stuff. Yeah, you do research. I'll talk about my favorite shows.
Okay, do that.
There's a whole bunch that opens up a whole bunch of stuff. Imagine a Final Space game. I'd love the hell out of a Final Space game. I'm all about that. It's a great series. But you think about all like the Netflix original series that are on there now, and I mean, I'm sure that the IP would lend itself to a number of game developers. But if Netflix is like, let's go, baby, let's go all the way in, I imagine that if they were going to be doing that, that they would then, license some of these things out. Imagine a like hard-hitting, Bloodborne, Soulsborne-esque style Punisher game. Like, give me that right now in my face. Like, honestly. And you think about that across, like, the Witcher series. Like, even though it's already a game, imagine like a Netflix-backed one. And you get old mate Henry in to do the voice work for it and mocap him and all that kind of stuff.
Old mate.
Hey, oh man. Old mate indeed.
Okay.
There's so much.
I can read you the news. So it wasn't just the Stranger Things thing. Here we go. Netflix is taking its next step into gaming by allowing subscribers in Poland. So any Polish people in the chat, put your hands up. On Android to play 2 Stranger Things games. Starting today, members in Poland can try Netflix mobile gaming on Android with 2 games. Stranger Things 1984 and Stranger Things 3. All as part of their membership.
Hell yeah.
What type of game it is?
I mean, it's a start, right? It's probably like a click and point adventure kind of deal, I would assume. But that's a start. Like, that's cool.
It takes you... So when you find the game in the... available games will show up in your home feed. If you tap on the game's icon, you can learn more about the game and tap a button to download it, which will take you to the Google Play Store, and you download it. Which means it's not through Netflix then, is it? So it's just, you can buy it through Netflix or download it through Netflix. It's still
powered through Google though, and that's interesting as well. Because does Google have like an investment in Netflix?
I don't know. After the game is downloaded, when you open it up and try to play it, you'll be asked to log in with your Netflix credentials before you can start playing. Then they're not being streamed from the device, they're downloaded. Okay, so this is way different than what we were thinking about.
Yeah, because the original kind of concept that we had been told was that it was going to be more like its own system, its own portable gaming sort of Steam, except on your television.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I'm still all for that now. But like, I guess we jumped and skipped and moved far away from our original point. But I honestly think that like there is going to come a time pretty goddamn soon where we're going to have a bit of a reckoning here. Like Twitch is either going to have to do something, or it's going to have to understand that it's not going to be in first place anymore. Like, it is currently the place to go for streamers. I live here. It's my place, This is where I make my money to support my family, all that stuff. But there will come a time where it might not be that case anymore. And it's all because of the way that the current public perception is of it. It's the way that we don't feel safe on Twitch, a lot of people. You know, you can give us all the TFA or 2FA you want in the world. Like, I'll have heaps of authentication to make sure that I'm safe to log into my account. But the second I get in there and there's some bigoted, racist, homophobic garbage like coming through on every stream, like, people shy away from that. I'm thick-skinned. For me, it's not so bad. I love when trolls come in. I did it the other night. We got hit with it, and I'm like, come on, then you give me some more. What, you gonna follow bot me? You let's go. Come on. Hey, first shot's free right here, you. And then, you know, we'll see what happens. Like, because honestly, at the end of the day, it's like, what are they going to possibly do? What can you do? What can you do outside of say things on here? Like, nothing. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But that being said, I was a wrestler. I used to get that live happen to me. Yeah. Walk past people and abusing me live, you know, so I'm used to that.
Yeah, this
but
is
you
easy.
get someone... Well, you get someone who's never been in that situation before, and maybe they're already timid to begin with. Maybe they're already like a little bit nervous about getting on the platform, and they get on the platform and someone just comes in and just calls them like something really horrible. Yeah. They're gone. They never come back. And not only do they never come back to stream themselves, but they never come back to Twitch.
Yeah. Because it's the people from cool. Like especially from minority groups that are already copying it in real life. And then they develop their communities around who they are on Twitch, and they have their communities, and that's where they go. That's like their safe place to hang out with their community, and for their community to hang out with them. And then you get a hate raid coming through, and you're copping more stuff than what you do when you walk down the street. Well, I imagine
that's what we're hearing. Like we're hearing at the moment, body positivity, ally, and LGBTQIA plus. Yeah, they're the three current targets. Yeah, they're the ones that are currently copying it. So, and yeah, those voices are getting louder and louder and louder. But at the end of the day, Twitch doesn't respond to anyone anyway. So, you know, unless you've got a partner manager, you're not talking to Twitch. Even if you're partnered, I've got friends who are partnered who don't get to talk to Twitch. You know, I've got friends who are huge members of the community who have been doing work with the community for a very long time, and they can't get a word in edgewise. Like, unless you have a specific way in, it's nearly impossible to even have a conversation about your concerns. And then you take it to Twitter, and then sure, if your voice is loud enough, maybe they'll hear it, but they've got no incentive to change it until they want to. Like, that's the strength in numbers thing though. That's the hashtag. That's why you got to get behind that, really. Cause, absolutely.
We're talking about Twitch trying to make money off advertisers and trying to better their platform. Like, they're not going to be able to do that if the public perception in the mainstream is that Twitch is this horrible place, and it's so loud and out there that it's such a toxic place. So the more and more you can get behind those movements and hashtags, and the more and more chance you've got of them doing something when there's so many people shouting at their doors.
You'll like this, right? And that's exactly what we're talking about with our next point. OnlyFans, guys, they've gone backwards. They've taken their big statement there about how no more any of that on here. No. None of that on the platform at all. All you can do now is put some lewds on there, maybe a little bit, but not too much. But now, because of the huge backlash, the massive backlash from adult creators, from everybody in industry essentially, now they've come back and they've said, oh, we're going to suspend this. We're not going to, maybe we won't do that no more. So completely 180 on this whole thing, which for me, with all my friends who like to chuck their on the internet, I think that is a fantastic thing. Like, honestly, because it's a lot of my friends, is their money, is their livelihood, you know. They like to get on TV for cash, and, you know, all the power to them. I'm really happy to hear it. I'm really happy to hear it. It's gone backwards here. But they did say in the article that they have only suspended it. They have suspended it, so I like how when they originally made the ban, now I've read back on it, that they announced that they're doing this because they can't get like investments from banks and stuff like that. They can't, none of the banking companies are going to touch them because of the type of content they provide. So they're like, well, let's get rid of all the hardcore stuff. It's just classy nudes now. Then the creators that are making the money on the platform and making money for the platform,
kick up a stink in force, like you're saying. That's what Twitch has got to do. And then they backpedal it and say we're going to take away that what we're going to do, but they blamed it on the banks.
Yeah.
The banks now have said, the banks have come forward and said, oh no, that's all right, you can have your hardcore stuff now, we'll still support you. So they didn't even man up as a company and say, we've heard you loud and clear and we have changed this for you. They're like, no, the banks have taken it off us, they won't give us money, and oh no, the banks have said it's okay now, so we're bringing it back. Soft.
Oh man, classic Bungie response. They didn't even give us the Bungie response. They didn't even say, we're listening. There was none of that at all. It was just like, oh no, it was someone else.
Yeah,
someone else. Not our fault. You guys continue to show your on the internet as much as you like, and that's so funny to me because it's like they really went in hardcore on this. Like, you know, no more hardcore. That was their whole thing. You know, like they were like, and I had so many friends who not only complained but left the platform.
Yeah,
completely gone. GORN, gone from the platform, never to return.
Yeah,
and now the situation is that the competitors are still going to rise. We're still going to get another version of it. We're still going to get another version because it's just like when some of the boy who cried wolf, man. I don't trust you no more. If you're that company, I don't trust that in 6 months' time, you're not going to say, hey, Shippy, you can't put your on the internet anymore and get money for it. I can't trust that anymore. So I'm going to take my and we're going to go over somewhere else. Like, you know, that's how it has to be. Like because at the end of the day, imagine if Twitch did that. Imagine if Twitch is like, all right, guys, from October, no more games.
Yeah.
No more games at all. You can't have any video games on this platform.
And then Mix was like, damn it! If we had held on for 12 months, it would have been ours!
Yeah. But then they go, oh no, sorry, because of the outpouring of support from the Cool Hat group, from the outpouring of support from Milady, we have decided to retract all of that, and now you're allowed to have games again, as if you wouldn't just take the ball and run anyway. Like you know what I mean? Like, as if you wouldn't say, you know what? Let's go resurrect Mixer. You know what? Let's go to Prime Live. Oh, yeah, that's too funny. I can't. That's not a real thing. Like. But like, you know, like let's do it, because at the end of the day, that's what's happening here. It's like it's the same thing. It's the same thing if they did that here. So yeah, like I think that they really, really, really messed up here, and I think that it's going to show when it comes time for their financials for next year. There's going to be like this massive dip. Yeah. I think fans going to be on like this, and then boom, and then it might come up a little bit, but you ain't getting back up here. I don't think. Like. You can make it as ease of use as you want and as popular as you want, but there has to be already another competitor rising. Like something, even if it's not out yet, you give it a couple of months and I guarantee there'll be like some fans or something.
No,
like,
so I was listening to Muselk talk about this topic the other day, and he was saying that there is an Australian-based company called Sunbed or something like that. There is a company that's trying to do. But it's was exactly the same thing. So it'd be interesting if something like that can take off now that there's been a bit of backlash here on the OnlyFans side. And they were going to be like, we're for the creators and you can do whatever you want on our platform. Like, we're not going to. So yeah, I wonder.
Low-key, I don't want to see Muselk's cock. Please don't send.
No, he wasn't involved in it. He just knew that about the platform.
Yeah.
So
definitely not OnlyFans. Only friends. There you go, easy peasy. But the thing is that it's like, yeah, I really think that they've done themselves a mischief here. Like, I don't think it's gonna be good for them at all. And I think that we're gonna find that in a few months' time, that it's not going to be the same. Like, you know, like the company will find it hard to recover, in my estimation. So
yeah, it's different. Like, I understand why they wanted to be like, we're into just like classy only hams. Ooh, only hams. I think at Christmas time, that platform. It's when all the good content comes in. For Christmas time and for lunches for the next month. Yeah, so it's interesting that they've come to the conclusion at some point that they had the rise of the the more safer creators there that were coming in and making a lot of money by just posting nudes and stuff. Like the more they were people that were kind of more known, so they weren't doing, so they were known outside the platform and using this for some light stuff. So I think they figured, oh, we could maybe cash in on this because this is more respectable. We'll get more sponsors. We'll be able to get more stuff to the platform from the outside. Whereas they could have done that from the beginning. Once they made their bed, I think they got to lay in it. So you can't take that back once you've let all of that stuff in, because it was such a huge part of what built that platform was the more hardcore stuff.
So dumb. It's so dumb. Raise your hand in the chat if you've ever even taken a moment to watch softcore porn. I guarantee you the hands are mostly down because you don't want that. If you're not here, I'm not paying $6 a month or whatever it is. I understand it's around about that. It could be more, could be less. I don't know. But I'm not paying that amount of money a month to look at someone in a really nice dress. I'm not doing that. Oh, that's a nice dress. Excellent. Let me just like, no, there's no, I don't see the appeal of that at all. And I don't know how anyone could. I don't know how anyone could.
I mean, each to their own. We know that there's some weird things that people like to look at that other people don't like to look at.
Yeah, no kink shame, of course, but I'm saying,
my
like,
feet pictures, I tell you what, first class.
Yes, these ones. No, but what I'm saying though is that, like, you're not going to go spend 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever buck it is a month. I'm not going there to look at Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
And like, because that's what it is. That's what it is. Instagram. Twitter has become more hardcore than any other platform. Especially if you know people in the industry. Like, if you know people in the OnlyFans industry on Twitter, you are seeing some dick. Like, you really, really are. But that's just the way it is, you know, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a really stupid move. Like, and like I said this when we first found out about it, and now it's gone backwards. So I guess it's less of a stupid move. But I feel like they're gonna shot themselves in the foot here, because how do you recover? How do you say, no, it's okay? Honestly, just saying, guys, you can trust us, okay? I know it wasn't me. It was the banks, man. It's just the banks.
Yeah,
it's
that was
the
weak.
Banks. It's the bank. It's not me.
It'll be interesting. Like it was less than a week or about a week that it took for them to reverse the decision.
Legit. So, we spoke about this 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks, was it?
And then, well, 2 weeks ago we first caught wind of it. I think we broke it. Like, it was like the day
we
off.
broke the news. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Oh, yeah, it was us, of everyone in the whole world. But no, I think when it broke, we broke it here, like the same day.
Yeah.
And then the week after, we did a big follow up on it with a lot of more information, because I'm pretty sure we got it at the end of the stream too, where we're like something about quickly think about OnlyFans the first week, and then the second week we were like, okay, OnlyFans, and you know, like, yeah, it's literally only been like 2 weeks. So insane to think about that. And now I can't even imagine the dip in money that they will be getting from all of this. Like I was saying, in the podcast that Belle Delphine was on, she was saying she was getting $1 million a month from OnlyFans exclusively.
Yeah.
But some other big name OnlyFans content creators have piped up since then, because she said, I think you'll find in general, most people who are on the platform, who are big platform. Wait a second, this doesn't work. Hang on. I think she said most people who are on the platform, who are big names on the platform, are making around about $1 million a month. And then other people came through on the platform and they said, no, we're big users on the platform, and we're making like 600,000, 500,000, 400,000 a month. So there's obviously like an echelon above that's making that big money. So yeah, it's still a huge industry there.
Yeah, interesting to see.
Yeah,
I feel like they might have
absolutely
recovered enough without a competitor right now that they're probably going to be fine. But someone would have already started work on something in that meantime.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the second somebody fires that gun back, like, and really opens it up, I reckon they're done. Like we said it the other week. Like, we said it like last week. We already said they were done. I reckon they'll still be right back in that chair, even with the explicit hardcore stuff coming back. The second there's a legitimate, viable competitor. because you can't trust it. You can't make a hoe a housewife. Dr. Dre told us that in 2001. You know, like
in saying that though, Twitch is in that kind of position as the first mover with most of the user base, and they fuck up all the time, and they have competitors, and yet they still keep making more and more money every.
There's no direct competitor though. You know, like Trovo again does not count. Like, but there's no like strictly only live streaming competitor.
Well, because that's because they don't work.
Yeah. They don't work against them. They don't.
The only reason why the only other two competitors are YouTube Gaming and Facebook is because they are something completely different and have different things going for them. Whereas Mixer doesn't work, Trovo won't work, Brian is not a thing.
It's not real.
What's the other one? There's another one. It's kind of like a new Mixer. It's kind of like from the...
Yeah, there is a new one too. I feel the name of it actually shit.
And that's not good for your platform if I've already forgotten the name and I've been following you on Twitter for 6 months. Glimish?
Glimish, that's it. Yeah,
so
yeah,
Glimish, Trovo, and just like Mixer, DLive. DLive had the whole cryptocurrency thing, so they kind of had their own kind of little thing over there. But that's why they don't work, I don't think, because they're a direct copy of Twitch, and they claim to be better for creators in terms of their communities and stuff, but there's no users over there. There's no viewers. There's no incentive for any viewers to go over there when they can find so much stuff on Twitch, whatever they want.
And that's the problem, is because everything is here right now. It's hard to leave. And that's what I was saying to you the other day about the Facebook side of things. Whereas that, yes, I'm going to be doing some stuff over there. Like, because until we get that tick, which we've put on hold for now, until we get that partner tick, I can experiment. And we'll have a look at other places. But that is terrifying. That is like legitimately terrifying, because what if no one's there? You know what I mean? Like
there will be, I guarantee there's probably going to be next to no one there because you'll start from scratch. But the good thing for you is that if you've got time, I don't know, are you adding this to what you're already doing, or are you taking away a little bit to put over there?
Okay, I've got 16,000 people on Facebook. Like I've got a decent following there. If for whatever reason I was under the impression that my time on Twitch had come to an end, I would take everything across and focus, because as was said, there's a handshake between Facebook and YouTube. There isn't a handshake between Twitch and YouTube. And YouTube's becoming a huge part of what we do from this weekend onwards. So if the situation lended itself for it, it would be overriding what we're doing, but it would have to lend itself in a very positive way.
Yeah, that's what I like about the two platforms too. With my sort of future plans, it's try and create something on YouTube, whether or not I stream there or not, but something on YouTube, and then work out where I'm putting live streams elsewhere. Because I think having more than one place that you're creating content is good.
I mean, because you can stream to TikTok as well if you're on Facebook, can't you? You can do TikTok, you can do Facebook and YouTube. You could restream theoretically to all three. Or you could do different camera angles to all three. Like, that's huge difference there.
Have you
but
seen
that
people
being said,
streaming like on TikTok? They don't stream exactly like it looks on other platforms. It's more like just a face cam, is it?
Yeah. So we've got a friend, Buff Barbarian Babe. She's a Twitch streamer, and she streams her gaming content and this essentially on Twitch like normal, with transitions and funny memes. And then she has a TikTok, which is literally just a stand with a phone here. That shows like a down view of her, or like a far view with her legs in capture, or whatever it is. And it's just like, she'll be talking on here, and then she'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just playing a game over on Twitch. If you want to see the game, go over there. If you want to see me, stay here.
Cool. That's interesting.
And like, so I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be or anything like that, but that's how I've seen plenty of people do that. Like, plenty of content creators do it. I've got another couple of friends who do it as well. But yeah, it definitely seems like that's how you have to do it on Twitch. I don't know if that's how you have to do it everywhere else though. So
yeah, whether you can have like a proper stream up elsewhere.
And
whether that, I wonder whether that translates. Well, that's what I was wondering, whether you were going to say that she does like a an actual stream like she would on Twitch on TikTok, and I was going to ask like how that goes. So I've never seen that, but that'd be interesting. See if that works.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see, like, I don't quite know the rules. I'd have to check the rules because, you know, if that's something that I want to end up doing at some point.
Yeah,
but that being said, splitting your community, that's a bit of a scary thing to me as well. I would be more of the suggestion that if that was to be something I would do in the future, I would probably stream one day a week on a Facebook and then another day a week on a YouTube gaming and then go back to there and then go back to there and then go back to there, rather than doing like both at the same time. Because if I've got 100 people in one stream, chances are I'm going to have less overall, you know, because 40 might be on YouTube and, you know, 40 might be on Facebook and 20 might not know what to do, and you know, because you're not quite sure where you're going. So you've got to have, like, I reckon when it comes to live stream, you got to have like one separate place.
Yeah. Yeah,
personally, but
that is one of the things. Like when I did restreaming before, when I was trying to decide whether to leave Facebook and go to Mixer, and I did some restreams. I tried Mixer, Twitch, and Facebook at the same time, and then I found that I preferred Facebook and Mixer over Twitch, so I was just doing those two. But
yeah,
that saw a drop off in my Facebook viewers immediately, because I think they could tell that there was kind of like a shift going on there, like this person might be thinking about leaving this platform and I only watch Facebook. So that sort of people dropped off, and I had a handful of regulars go over and try Mixer and like that at the time. So I was like, well, out of maybe my 10 super regulars, 5 of them are trying out Mixer, so that's a good sign. I think this could work. But in terms of the overall kind of lurkers and people that just hang out a little bit, as the volume of my streams just diminished as I was doing restreaming. So, but I've heard other people use it in a good way, and it works. I think if you're first starting, you don't have an existing community, it might be good. But I think you're right. If you've already got a Twitch community, I wonder if that would affect that community in a negative thing to do at the same time. And you can't anyway, can you? Because you're with Twitch.
Yeah, exactly right. So the way it works with Twitch is that Twitch is like a computer says no straight off the bat. Like you're not allowed to do anything else. So and at the moment, that's what we're doing. Like, I am a Twitch streamer, and I'm really happy with my community. I love my community. I love the Anchor Club. I love hanging out in Game On Aus. You know, I love Twitch, and I'm just at a point though where sometimes it's a bit scary, you know, to be so invested in a place that I don't feel is such the way invested in me. You know, and that's a natural feeling. And it's natural to try to want to experiment, because you have to remember, when I started streaming a year ago, speaking like some old guy who's been streaming for 10 years, when I started streaming a year ago, this was all I thought of to do. I didn't have plans to go anywhere else. Like, I didn't really I did have a bit of a research around Trovo. I did have a bit of a research around Mixer, and I did apply for all those places as well. And I do have accounts at all of those places, apparently including Mixer, even though the website doesn't exist anymore, because the day I signed up was the day it closed. But yeah, right. But at the same time, like, you know, I've had that stuff ready to go just in case. But then Twitch took off. So then I'm like, okay, well, we'll just do this. So I've never really been out in the world on my own in the cold when it comes to content creation. So it's a bit of an interesting question. I would be really curious to see how I would go on another platform. We will wait to see, though, because YouTube blowing up hopefully this weekend was the beginning. We're going to be filming the whole office setup. We're going to be filming a whole bunch of other little BTS things there as well. Not the band, although maybe one day. I have a couple of. Oh yeah. We're going to get Jungkook in first time. But no, I want to do an acoustic cover of one of their songs, so we'll wait and see how that goes. Oh, cool. But because music's going to be a big part of what we do as well when the office is ready to go. So
that kind of edited stuff's going to be good for like your Facebook to try and build that up while you're not doing live streaming there, though. If you're trying to build it up.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff like Jonathan Young does with his like Disney Does Metal and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
We've got plans to do a lot of that kind of cover stuff as well. Yeah. We've got all the proper audio equipment you need, and just like, you know, a big old downlight with a guitar and and properly mixed music and then put on the internet with different angles and everything, because that kind of content is persistent. And this is what I was trying to say a while ago when it comes to YouTube is that finding yourself content that gives you persistent growth, you know, because someone will always be looking up BTS as an example.
Yeah.
You know, they'll always be looking that up, and then they might find the video, and if they click through, they might like it, and then if they like it, they might come to the Twitch stream. Otherwise, those views just keep going up, and that's what you want to keep creating. You want to keep creating that way for that viewership to continue to scale upwards. So yeah, a lot of that kind of content we're going to be working on here, so we'll see how it goes. But for the minute, Twitch streaming, amazing. I love it. There's a lot of shit I hate about it. There's a lot of shit you hate about it. There's a lot of shit you hate about it. I know there is. I know there is. But at the end of the day, like,
what do you got to do?
I wouldn't have this amazing community without Twitch. I wouldn't have this amazing community of people who believe in everything we do without Twitch. So I can't throw it in the bin entirely emotionally at this point.
No, and I think Twitch is what it is. I think that's the problem. Like, it's going through the hate raids at this point, but like last month it was gambling streams. A month before that it was ASMR. Before that it was hot tubs, and I feel like Twitch has always had something going on in a negative light like that, and it doesn't mean that it's not a good platform for some people.
No, absolutely not. Like
the hate raids part.
Focus on
the hate raids part is a bit different because that kind of comes into your community and affects it, whereas the other stuff you can kind of just leave alone because it's not part of your thing.
No, exactly right. And we don't really have, even though people like Shotgun Steve here will come in and be a bit of a troll, I don't have anyone who purposefully comes to my streams to hate on me. That's not the kind of community I cultivate. I know that there are streams that do that, where it's like, we'll pick on the streamer and that's the fun of the stream. We don't do that. So when we do get a hate raid, or when we do get people in there who think that's funny, they get knocked down. Like, they get sat down pretty quickly by people like Shotgun Steve. You know, one of the main perpetrators of giving you shit online, he will sit up and say, hang on a second, you can't do that here, because that's not how we are as a community. Because that, so thankfully, when it comes to those kind of things, we don't really have too much to worry about. Griefing, like, we just opened up our the Anchor Club SMP for Minecraft, so like a survival multiplayer world where all of my community can come and play. It's really cool for people who like that. Even if they don't like Minecraft, it's a cool little way for people to kind of catch up and like build something together and talk on there, and you know, it's a fun little community thing. But even on there, griefing isn't really a thing that exists. You know, we've already had to take people and set them aside for it, but it really, there's a line that we don't cross. That's a good way of putting it. Like, in general, there's a line that we don't cross, because at the end of the day, you know, we try to be a little bit of a family with what we do, and I think that all good Twitch communities are a little bit like a family.
Absolutely.
And when someone comes in and tries to mess with my family, just like in real life, man, you come out here and you're gonna my family, I'm gonna be right in the face, like, honestly, like, because like, you can't do that. You can't do that. So well, I'm sure we went for a big walk again, as always, away from our original point. But I think that OnlyFans is fucked.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. That was like half an hour ago, but that was still the point we're on. I think OnlyFans is stuffed, honestly, completely, but it's fine. We had one question from the Goa members, didn't we? Yes, we did.
And do we have any questions on stream? I feel like really early on. I'll check that while you check the
I'll bring up this question and
the Goa one. And guys, if you've got any questions about streaming, I know that I'm not as good as some. I know that I haven't been doing it for as long as some, but I do a pretty alright job, and we do have a pretty good brain trust here between the two of us. So if you do have any questions or any things you'd like to get our perspective on, now is the time in the chat. Please do ask away, and we'll do our best to answer them, even just to give our perspective on. You want to think, you know, who's the hottest Hanson boy? You know, whatever it might be, just ask away. You know, like.
Run my hand through my hair. All right, so question from the Kaiju Kai in the Goa subscription Legends subscription club. A bit of a late reply. I didn't need to say that. But what do you look for in a game to stream, and what could entice you to stream a particular title? Here we go.
Ooh,
What say you, the Warship?
Okay, so, what do I look for in a game to stream? All right. So, when I stream a game, I'm at the moment shocking at it, absolutely shithouse at it, because I'm struggling myself. But what I look for in a game is, for number one, engagement. So a game where I can interact with my community, not necessarily saying something like Jackbox, but as I explained in my in our conversation on introductory to streaming and tutorial for first time streamer kind of thing that we spoke about, a game that can allow your community to find a reason to engage. Like when I first started playing Minecraft, we found a sheep and the sheep wouldn't come into the house, and we named him the Jerk Sheep because he's a jerk. And it wasn't the whole community got around him. He became my first emote on the channel. And we would find investment that way. We'd find pets, we'd find friends, and then those friends, it was like Rosa Diaz when she gets the puppy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. If anything, I've only known this puppy for a day, but if anything should happen to it, I'll kill all of you and then myself, because that's what it's like. That's what it's like when it comes to that investment that you create. So that was really, really cool. And then on top of that, we added in Dixpa. Now, Dixpa was... it still is now. I'm actually partnered with them. What they do is it controls your stream as you play. So we play Minecraft, and I play on hardcore when we were doing the Dixpa stuff, which means that if I die once, the world is deleted. I lose everything. Right. So I spent 10 in real life days worth of time, 10 times 24 hours worth of time over the course of this one world in Minecraft. And I was playing around in one of the dangerous areas there called the Nether, and somebody in my stream activated a skill in Dixpa, which was use the thing in your hand. And it just so happened the thing in my hand was a sword, and I hit a passive opponent as I was going past it. And what that meant is that in the Nether there's a bunch of pigmen, and if you're wearing gold, you can walk freely, but the second you attack one, they mob you. Yeah. And I was just walking past, and I was just like this, and I hit one of them, and then 50 of them rushed me at once, and there was nothing I could do, and I died, and I lost everything. But that investment in that one moment, that investment was huge. People were like, oh my God, it's finally over, because they've been trying to kill me for months. like even though they don't want the world to go, because they love the world. They love the world. They love the cursed nature of the world. There you go. That's Shotgun Steve. The Shotgun Steve is just mad because he kept trying to kill me, so I named a horse after him and rode him into the Nether. I'm like, if I'm dying, you're coming with me. But the thing is that we created an investment. Like we did. We created like a reason for them to want to be there, and that for me is like number one. So finding a game where you can do that is super, super important. Now, whether that is a game like Marbles, where you're interacting with people and they can get things and they can play, or whether that's a game that is a story-based game where you can get people who have played it before. So like The Witcher 3, for example, I've got a friend, Misfit Act, who played that for a long time, and Misfit Act would he would play it, and he'd never played it before. He'd come in, he'd be like, "Oi, boss, come on in, guys, tell me how to play. What do we have to do next? This one." And then the people would come in and say, "Oh, hey, man, you're cool. This level here, you have to do this. If you want this, you have to make this potion, blah, 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 blah." And you create an authentic kind of interest, because they're teaching you. They're offering a service to you, and they're invested to see how you do it. Whether or not you follow their advice and you beat the bad guy together or not, and that's another cool way to do it too. So for me, those 2 points are pretty important. My most important point outside of those 2 points, though, is I play games that no one plays. My interest is finding games that people used to watch a lot of and were super duper stupid successful at the time, but they haven't touched for a while, and they're just outside of that mindset of people who, if you see it, you're like, oh man, remember that game? That was sick. And I'm not talking like, Hexen or Quake 1 or anything. I'm not talking like Duke Nukem 3D. I'm talking games like Can Your Pet or like Happy Wheels, things that had like real relevance to the internet community 4 years ago, 5 years ago. that they still remember, but they haven't seen in ages, because they'll come in, they'll be like, man, I can't remember the last time I saw this. And then they'll talk and they're like, oh, hey, man, how you doing? And I'm like, hello, everybody. And then they love that. They're like, oh, you sound like Markiplier. Fantastic. But like, it all goes, it is all about investment at the end of the day. I don't like shooting games because, as I've said before on stream, and I've said it here as well, this is shooting games. I'm just sitting here, not talking to my chat, not interacting, maybe talking to someone on the headset on Discord, like, oh yeah, man, you know, how good is this game? I love playing this game. Oh no, I haven't been to the toilet in weeks. No, it's all right. I've got a nappy. It's fine. You know, like, you know, I've got my Doritos, I've got my Mountain Dew. I'm sorted. You know, like, that's not entertainment. That's not interaction. That's not engagement. Like, so those games, to me, they don't work. They may be popular within certain realms, but they don't suit what we do. Yeah. So I would definitely say, for me, find a game that you find fun, first and foremost, but a game that you can engage with your community with, and that they have a reason to come back. Because one thing that nobody owes you is their time on your stream. Like, nobody, I'm not owed 100 people in my streams. I am so grateful to have that, but I'm not owed anything. Nobody has to be there. I have conversations every day with people who are like, how did you make people come watch you? Like, you've already made a mistake. How do you make people? You don't make people. People choose to watch. So enjoy what you do, create an investment in it, and yeah, just have fun with it. Play something stupid. Don't worry about looking stupid either. Play something dumb just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I choose games. What about yourself there?
So there's probably two parts there. Like, how do I choose games, and what should you do? So what I've done in the past, I agree. The couple of games that I can think of off the top of my head that popped off when I was streaming on other platforms back in the day was Destiny 2, and the other game that I remember was like the first game where I started to get, like, you know, over 10 viewers all of a sudden a few months into my streaming career, and maybe I got up to 20 or 30 viewers and thought I'd made it, was I started playing God of War about a year after it came out. It was kind of around the time around the time that the Game of the Year awards were coming up, and it was being mentioned, and I'm like, oh, I should play that now. And I did that, and people started to rock up. So like you say, people like to watch people go through that experience for the first time, and because they've already played it, they're okay just watching someone, because they've already been spoilt by the ending, and they just want to see someone go through that experience and hang out with a chat, which obviously when you're playing it at home as a viewer, you don't have that experience. You're just playing it on your own in a single player game like that. So to be able to hang out in someone's chat, watch a creator, give them tips, hang out and talk to other people and chat about the game has been good. Destiny 2 was I think I just caught a community being on Facebook. There's groups and stuff about that revolve around particular games. So on that platform, playing a game that wasn't overly played on the platform at the time, everyone was playing Fortnite, and to have the ability for people to share you to their groups that they're a part of that play Destiny. And then in both of those occasions, though, for me, and this is separate to the game choice, is when I played God of War, I changed the coloring of my camera so it gave me grey skin, and I painted the tattoo of Kratos on, and I've got the bald head and the beard, obviously. So I had the voice changer with the deep voice, and I played as Kratos while I was playing it.
That's real cool.
And so later on, when I caught on playing Destiny, I was doing the Captain Radman character as well. So I was a character streamer, and that kind of drew people in. So I was just a larrikin playing. I was just this idiot buffoon larrikin superhero, Aussie superhero, and that was what people stuck around for. So when you do get shared to groups, and when people do find you, you've got a thing about you that's different to another stream. So like yours is you're very interactive with the games you choose, very good community around that you've built around that, and so that becomes your thing. Like you're an entertaining guy to watch, and your community is just so wholesome and inclusive that that's the thing that grabs you. So I'd say there is some game choices that you can make. obviously play something that you know that you're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
But there is certain game choices that you can make that are going to help and be a good choice strategically for your streams. But I think the overriding thing always has to be what's my entertainment value or factor.
Yes.
I always go back to that. It's always about trying to be unique in some way.
I guess what I was saying is that when it came to Minecraft, I actually enjoy the game as well. I only just started playing it. So for me, it allowed me to have a game that I thought was really, really cool and really fun, not know what to do at all, and still ask help and still, create that investment at the same time. And I think that's cool. Like The Forest is another one like that too. Absolutely.
I love that game.
Like having a good group of people just mucking around. Like I also very rarely, to go back to Hordy's point there as well, playing a game that takes attention away. If a game makes me look at the screen longer than I look at the chat, I won't play it. I just straight up won't. I am more likely to just chat for 5 hours than I am to play a game where I don't look at the chat at all. And in fact, this kills me. Streamaholics kills me. Not being able to sit there and respond to every single thing as they come out, it kills me so much, because I'm really a big fan of being able to like go back and forth with people, have conversations. I'll stop a stream if you're having a bad day and we'll talk about it on stream. Like, like that's just me. Like, I definitely want to make sure, because at the end of the day, nobody cares about your stupid KD. Nobody does. Nobody cares about your trick shots. Nobody cares at all about how many battle royale, victory royale, anything royale with a cheese that you have. Nobody does. Nobody does. Except for Shotgun Steve, who's got like 700 almost crowns in Fall Guys. Nobody cares. like at the end of the day, the thing that is the most important is the people. Is the chat, because without the chat, you don't have anything. Without the chat, you're just a person sitting in your room playing a game. And if that's what you want to do, please remember it is okay to just play, as is the credo here. But if you're searching for more, you can't ignore your stream. You can't ignore your chat. Your chat are the homies. They're the ones who you're here for. They're the ones who you have a good time with. They're the ones who support you. They're the ones who come back. Yeah. So why would I ignore them? You know.
So, and also the point in there is that if you enjoy streaming as a hobby to hang out with a couple of people, and you're not a community person, you're not entertaining, but you just like the idea of having a couple of people hang out and watch, like that's okay too. So you can play shooters and be non-entertaining and be like everyone else. And you're right. Like people don't care about these days because it's very, very hard. It's too oversaturated to play shooters and just be like having your stats in the title, like how many wins you've got, or on the screen, 16 wins for today or whatever. Like it's not enough. Like you could play like I played a lot of shooters too. I played a lot of Apex and Call of Duty as well during my time, but it was never about the game. And people will tell you that, like, if you watch my highlights even now that are still up from when I was the character, I was trying to be entertaining and funny the entire time I was playing the game. So even if I can't read chat, I'm still talking and I'm still trying to come up with jokes and I'm still trying to be funny and reacting to the game the entire time before getting back to chat. So that's just, you've got to set yourself apart if you are going to play those oversaturated games. But because it depends on what type of creator you are, because some people like I've had very successful just chatting streams too, when people, and they're really good for me to be able to sit down, and that was kind of part of the reason why I took away the character and went to the Lukey Bangerz, because I started to feel like I could sit down like Streamaholics and talk to people as myself and hang out with my community more, just doing just chatting streams and talking about stuff. But as Captain Radman, it was less so, and that was different because I'm playing a character, so it's different. I can't sit there and be as in-depth and as meaningful with everything that I'm saying like I am right now when I'm playing a character. So that type of entertainment or that type of creator becomes like although it is about your community and entertaining them, and people hanged out in my Discord, and I was Captain Radman everywhere, on Twitter, on Instagram, in my Discord and everything, on the stream. it's a different type of creation too. If you're going to do that, you are there for entertainment, you are hanging out with chat, but you've got to be able to, because people will take off if you're not. Like, say you are playing a shooter and you've got your lobbies in between the games where it's easier to keep up with chat. I would try and keep up with chat while I was playing. I'd die all the time because I was trying to keep up with chat, and I'd make it funny. But if you are going to be a competitive type of gamer, it's not enough to just be good at the game anymore. So that's why it's always, unless you've got something unique to bring to the table for those sort of games, it's always better to try and find more niche games with games, like you say, like that have kind of gone past their fad stage, but they still have a large online community based around those games.
Yeah,
like,
cult followings, things like that.
You can find people dropping in. Like if you've tended to follow those, like, as you know, on Twitch you can follow games, so that's how that works. Yeah. If someone pops up all of a sudden has got 10 people watching them in a game that doesn't usually have any viewers in there, but Twitch knows that you follow that channel. Yeah. That
check
game
it out.
channel
You will.
directory, it'll come up in your recommended probably, so you got more of a chance than streaming a game that's popular at the time, because you got very slim chance of popping up in anyone's recommended tab.
Unless you're throwing up you're throwing up a phase up or something, I'm not watching your trick shot montage, you know what I mean? Unless you're a member of FaZe Clan, or you're a member of the Thieves, or unless you're like somebody who has that big energy, that big clout, someone who's got that special thing that gets them those $1 million endorsements. Nobody's watching you. No one. I love you. I'm sorry. Nobody's watching you. Do that because they can watch that person do that. That was my drink. It's fine. It only went nowhere, hopefully. But they're not watching that. They're not. And I hate to say it, because I love all of my friends on here. I love all my content creators, everyone who's been around the Anchor Club, everyone who's been around Game On Aus. You guys are the best. But if you're looking to grow, you can't do that. Like, you can't be Shroud and not pay attention to the stream, and not pay attention when someone subscribes, and not pay attention when someone follows, when you don't have that already, when you're not Shroud. It just doesn't work that way. And that's the biggest mistake I see when people first start streaming. They come through, and they're like, all right, so what I'll do is I'll just play games and people will be there. And then they come to me and they say, Shippy, why is no one here? And then I go, okay, let's give you a shout out. Let's see how you go. Was last playing Call of Duty Black Ops? I'm like, that's why. Like, it's not because you're not fun, because you are fun. I spoke to you. It's not because you're not entertaining, because you are entertaining. You've got a cool camera, you've got lights and all that kind of shit, but it's because you spend the entire stream doing this.
Yeah. You can't.
I don't care. Like,
because imagine now, like, if Shroud started on Twitch right now, he's going to interact with chat because he'll have no one watching him because he's just starting. He probably wouldn't make it.
No.
If someone did what he did. I actually don't find someone like Shroud super entertaining to watch. Like, even when he does speak and he's thoughtful about stuff, he doesn't come across as like an entertainer to me.
Yeah.
And so every man and his dog's good at Call of Duty. Yeah. Or Tarkov or whatever. So if Shroud started his streaming journey like right now, I wouldn't hesitate to guess that he would also struggle to make it in the platform the way it is now compared to when he started.
I will spend minutes, much longer. Even if you keep talking, Horty, I will talk to you until I can't talk anymore. And that doesn't matter if it's you, it doesn't matter who it is from the chat, but if someone comes to me to a stream for the first time and they start speaking, you better get ready for a conversation. And I don't care if I've got 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 people all talking around it. I will make time to speak to you. I will make time to speak to everybody there. And it's because everybody is giving me the most important resource they have: time. Everybody is coming into that stream for the first time, for the 5th time, for the 500th time, and they're giving me that. They're giving me that time. They're saying 4 or 5 days a week, whatever it is, let me give you, thank you so much for the follow. Let me give you that time. And I have a finite amount. I have a finite amount of time on this world. We all do. And you choose to spend 5 hours a night with me? Man, let's have a chat. Pull up a chair. Let's have a drink. Whatever it is, let's do it. Like, tell me about your day. Having a shit day? Why? Who do I have to bash? Like, please tell me. And that's what's important, I think, when it comes to streaming. Like, that to me is most important, is the people. And I know that it started this conversation about best game to play on stream.
Yeah. We do it every time. We need to change the name of the podcast.
There's so much more. Yeah, we do. We should have this. We have the worst podcast.
The worst podcast. That's the name. That's the new name of the show. The new byline to the show. Streamaholics, the worst podcast.
But honestly, because games, they don't matter. Games come and go. The worst thing that I could ever do, in my eyes, is pigeonhole myself into one game. What words? I can't even speak. Into one game. The worst thing I can think of doing is playing one game and that's all.
Yeah.
Whether that's like the COD series, whether that's like Battlefield, even if that's something like Minecraft. Well, no matter what it is, the worst thing I can think of is just playing one game. Because you know what happens when those servers eventually go away? You know what happens when that game eventually stops being relevant? You know what happens when the CEO of that game does something really shit and goes to jail for it? The game dies. And so does your community. If all you care about is the game and you don't care about the community, one day you're going to be alone.
And sometimes sorry, I'll keep cutting you off.
So you go.
I was gonna say, sometimes even if you do have a really good community, but you're based around one game and then that game disappears or you change, as good as that community is, they can sometimes disappear. That's why I think it more benefits you to be like, well, I play open world games. That's my thing. Well, I play FPS games, but I do a whole range of FPS games, or I play single player games, or I play stupid little indie games that no one's ever heard of before that do some funny weird shit on stream. Like, that's what I do. Like, I think if you can make that your thing, but not one particular game, I think it goes a long way too.
Absolutely, and that's why we do what we do. Or for me, for example, that's what I do. People actually pulled me up yesterday on that. They're like, "What do you play, Shippy?" And I'm like, we like.
Is this the end of the stream and you didn't tell me?
Like that's how it goes, because sometimes I legitimately have no idea. Like we play Goose Goose Duck. I played Pony Island on YouTube recently. We played Subnautica so much when we first started streaming. The Forest, like Terraria, Minecraft. We play a bunch of stuff, but we're Seinfeld. We're a stream about nothing.
Yeah.
Like we really are. We're a stream about nothing, and we're Seinfeld mixed with Whose Line Is It Anyway? Because we're a stream about nothing where the games don't matter. Because they really don't, and they shouldn't. What should matter is this: you and me, to every one of you in the chat. So play what you want. Just enjoy it, and make sure that you respect the people who are taking their time to watch you.
Yeah, that's why Shippy's so wholesome and has such a great community. That's why mine's not. I'm like, you already know this. People don't know this, and Grumpy kind of asked it before. I'm about to chuck the mask back on and just be a fucking clown on stream again, just to have some fun. So that's where I'm at. Like, I had like dreams of being this big creator when I first started. That was the whole Radman thing. Then I just got sick of it and burned out and wanted to be myself. And now I'm just like, I had more fun when I was just entertaining people. So that's going to be my thing moving forward.
I think it's really cool. It's different, It's not like everyone else does either. Like, it's a completely new and fun and interesting thing that I haven't seen before. So, like, why not do it?
Have you ever... So this is interesting too. We've never really asked this before, which is amazing, really, given my love of wrestling, and given that I did a character channel.
Yeah.
You've done that like as your profession for forever. You were a character.
Yes.
And so not knowing too much about your characters that you played, did you play many over your career, or is it kind of the evolution of the same one, or?
So one of them is hard to talk about because one of them is from a different time.
Nice. I like this already.
One of my first characters. So I essentially started off as just a general bad guy.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, the promoters involved in the promotions I was with were like, "You should be a racist bad guy."
Oh, really? Wow.
So yeah, I went from being the Warship, just as the Warship, I had like blue, red, white, and black tights on, to being the Warship in black trimmed red tights with white logos on the side. Not good. I did that for a very short time, and
I think
then
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a fan at all. Not a fan whatsoever. And I did stand up at the end and say, no, we can't do that no more.
Yeah.
And eventually we moved into a sort of a goth character. So the Warship became. I used to come out to counting bodies like sheep to the rhythm of the war drums. I used to come out to Dead Souls as well. So very The Crow, It Can't Rain All the Time-esque. My face paint was like black all here with no facial hair and like essentially a bearded shape with like and like eye slits and all that kind of stuff.
So I think that's some of the stuff that I've seen is that part of your character.
Yeah, and I did that one for a very long time. And then we moved into a different one as well, which was more of a god-like character. That was like I used to wear always like the sign of the void from 3x3 eyes, or I'd have an eye, like an unseeing eye on the over my forehead, and I was like prophet-esque.
Yeah.
And essentially most of my characters in that era were based around the Anonymous movement and the Illuminati. Like I'd come out with the Anonymous mask on, and then I slowly made it my own by like putting like cracks through it and all that kind of stuff. But we did like a whole lot of the stuff that we did was very, very cool, very highly produced stuff. You can find a lot of it on YouTube still.
It is. It's really good. I've seen some of your YouTube stuff and it's amazing. Like for a promotion that's based in Perth, like not knowing much about the wrestling industry in Australia, I was very impressed by the stuff that you guys did.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very cool, and I really, really enjoyed that side of it. And then, the last thing we did after that broke up was I came back in a tag team with one of my friends. We called ourselves Mayhem, and it was just Junkrat and Roadhog. Because I was a lot smaller back then, and he was taller and bigger than me. So like the whole thing was just like, it's a perfect day for some mayhem, and the whole thing was like his name was Mako, and my wrestling name is Jay Forks, and for anyone who knows Overwatch, Jamison or Jay Jamison Forks is actually Junkrat's real name. So, but then Jay Forks also led back to my Anonymous character with the Guy Fawkes mask as well. So like it made sense to combine the two.
Yeah.
But I would whip him into the corner and he'd do like a catapult splash in the corner, and I'd be like, fire in the hole, like full on like the rip tire and everything like that. Like, nice. But yeah, like that was fun. Like our logo was Mayhem, so it was the Overwatch logo upside down, pointing down like that instead.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, that was a lot of fun too. But essentially, I've always been a bad guy except for that gimmick. So I was always a bad guy for most of my career. I'm as far as playing characters on stream, I'm so used to it. I really.
That's what
I've done a few of them here too.
Oh, you have you? Okay, so you've done characters on stream for like a full stream, or?
Yeah. So we've had where I've worn like my wrestling gear for the whole stream.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Stuff like that too, and I actually want to give away one of my sets of tights as well soon. So when we move into the new office, I'm going to put it in a frame, and I'm going to organise a way for us to do a big charity giveaway, or a big giveaway for the fact that it's going to cost a lot to make the office work. But we're going to get around that too.
Did you ever at all, when you were thinking about doing streaming, did you ever consider bringing whatever your most famous character or most popular character you ever did in wrestling to life as a thing, or was it was never a thing?
Warship was always an extension of myself. Warship, like the Warship character as a bad guy, was always the stuff that I don't say that we all think. It just turned up to 11.
That's always a fun thing about Red Band. That's what I always say. It's like it's the voice inside my head coming out. That pretty much.
Yeah, no, exactly right, and that's the whole basis of what we do in wrestling when it's done right.
Yeah.
So nice. No, they're not really. But that being said, I'm more than happy to dress up on occasion, and especially as I'm getting back to where I need to be physically. Definitely getting back there. So the closer we get to where I was before, the more shirtless streams you'll see, or in wrestling gear streams you'll see.
Very cool.
But that was a conversation about what games to play. Just to let you guys know.
Yep.
It ended with me wearing practically nothing again. Awesome. But yeah, I think we've pretty much answered all questions except for one from Bestia, who was a bit of a joke question, but I will absolutely answer it in the chat.
What did Bestia have to say?
What is the value of a good mod team?
Okay. He wants a bit of a
bump. What do you reckon? Yeah.
What's a G up?
What would you say there?
Me? Well, mods. So we've talked about this before. I've never had mods ever. Like, even when I was doing Destiny streams with 50 to 80 people, like all the time watching me, and it going a little bit nuts. I never invested in proper mods. When I was on Mixer, like my wife, who has just dropped in the chat before, hi, I'm almost done. Like she's always been a mod. She's always been a mod, but not someone who knows about the cultures and the ins and outs of how you would use your mod powers, kind of thing. Yeah. But so on Mixer, I had a mod. One of my friends that I met from America that was another streamer as well used to pop in and stream that much that they saw me struggling one time and was like, hey, do you want me to help me with that? With that person that's just come into stream? I'm like, yeah, okay, here, how do I even make you a mod? So I made her a mod. She used to help out, but I really needed mods, and the way you've talked about the way that the mods on your side of things have been really makes me regret ever having mods during that time. But for me, I think it was more like a relinquishing control type of thing, because but I know that it would have been very, very handy.
Honestly, I can't live without my mods. Like, that's the facts. Like, when it comes to my streams, like, mods are everything. Like, having a good mod team, having a group of people that I can just say, go forth and do my bidding without even having to say it is awesome. You know, being able to say, all right, so for me, you guys know how I feel. You guys know what my standards are when it comes to what's good to say in streams, what's bad to say in streams. I don't even need to swing the sword. You will act in my stead. And knowing that I don't have to say a word and it still gets done is awesome. Having great. People like Bestia in there is great, you know, because Bestia is always watching. He's always watching, Wazowski. Like, he really, really is always watching and ready to strike. And he does. He takes care of business, and that's what you want. You want a mod who can do that. I've got another mod called Tio. I am Tio today. And Tio legitimately was probably here earlier because he came through with the raid. But Tio, if something goes wrong on Nightbot, boom, fixed. Instantly. If I say, hey, can we get a command set up? Boom, without even thinking about it. Like, Bestia or Tio will have had it done straight away. Just because. So good. Like, I don't even have to say anything. Like, I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool. Can we do that? And then it's done. And like a second later, it's something that we can do. You know, or I'll just be sitting there. The power of a good mod team is saying, oh, guys, what do we feel like doing tonight? Hey, Bestia, can I get a poll up just saying marbles, Minecraft, Goose Goose Duck, Fortnite? You know, quick. I've never played Fortnite on my channel, by the way. Put the poll up. We'll see how it goes. And by the time I finish saying the last thing, the poll's up. Yeah. Like, and then it's good to go. Like, and I think that's something that's really, really important, the value of that, because they keep my community safe. They keep the rest of my chat safe from people who would be interlopers, you know, who would come in to disrupt the streams. They're gone. The amount of times I've seen for a minuscule second something racist in my chat and then blah, blah, blah was banned. Like, the amount of times I've seen, not even seen what happened. There have been times recently, like Tio actually is a really good example of one of those, where I was just talking to someone and then someone new came in, but by the time they came in, they were gone. Like, so I hadn't even seen the first message And I read chat consistently. I don't look away from chat, but he was faster than the server sent me the message.
Yeah.
So he got it sent first because they must have been closer to him in the world, but he got it he got it before I did.
Yeah.
Like, and that's wild. So yeah, like moderators, a good moderator team is everything. And that's why I said if we get to a point where we're doing well financially, we get a good couple of sponsors, we don't need to worry about subs, all of that money will go to the mod team. Like all subs, bits, all that kind of stuff, because they deserve it. They do so much work. So yeah, I would put the mods above almost every other function on the stream. I like, you know, there are times, you know, Bestie, I could do it now just to get me, but there are times where I'm like, all right, guys, I have to go to the toilet. Can you put me in BRB? And they can actually control that from my stream. They just go !BRB, the mods on my screen, and then it will boom. It'll take me out of this menu here and put me onto the BRB screen. There are other times where I'm like, oh, I'm playing a game. We'll go to Stream Raiders for a second, and I'm sitting on the Stream Raiders screen, and then all of a sudden I'm like, and they've realized that I've gone back to the game, but I haven't. Fuck, he's done it.
I was just going to say that. I was literally just going to say, which you could do technically right now, couldn't you?
Yeah. And there are times where, like,
got him.
Dick. Got him. There are times, though, where, like, I will, like, forget completely about the fact that I haven't changed the menu to the right screen.
Yeah.
And then, boom, he'll do it. So yeah, like they're invaluable, especially for someone who's forgetful like me. Like they really are invaluable.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. I'm keyboard illiterate, so whenever I had something like a comment I needed to delete or someone to ban in my chat, I was just sitting there like, and that became part of my gimmick, was that I was, oh, hang on a second, and I'd type in the wrong shit in the chat, and I'd be like, fucking, because I can't type really good, and I don't know what the commands even are, so I'm like fumbling around. So I made it part of the character, but at the same time, it would have been nice if it was just handled and I didn't have to even worry about getting the keyboard
I
out.
don't even need to shout out people now. I'm just like, oh man, what's going on, Shotgun Steve? Thank you for the raid, champion. And by the time I've said that, SO is already done. I look there and boom, ding, it's done. Like I don't even have to say it. Like it's see like that. Legitimately how it works. Like the second that I say it, it's done. And like I never have to say, unless the boys aren't there. Like, unless the team are busy, I never have to say, like, sometimes if it's late, like 2 a.m, I have to be like, hey, can one of the mods do that? But 95% of the time, it's just done. So, yeah, I can't praise the mod team enough, if I'm honest with you. And I do recommend everyone get a mod team. No matter how big the stream is, if you've got less than 10 people, get a mod team. If you've got less than 5 people, get a mod team. Like, get as many as you can.
Yeah, thanks for
thank you very much. Thank you so much there, friend. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Get yourself even just 1 or 2 people who you trust.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what can they do? They can't turn your stream off. They can't look at your financials. They can't do any of that stuff. Like, they're just there to support you.
I think what might have scared me is that one of the crew that was part of this streaming Discord group that we were part of from America, she was co-streaming with another one from that same group, and I was watching the 2 of them. One of them was on Twitch, one was on Facebook, and all of a sudden her stream disappeared.
Yeah, okay.
And we were trying to work it out. We're in the Discord chat trying to work out how her stream's gone. Her channel's been put into a mode where it was kind of like deleted, and it was just gone. It turned out that she had choose the right mods. It turned out that she had a mod who had somehow permissions to do that, and had
weird,
and had turned into some sort of a weird, creepy online stalker for her, and was jealous that she was playing with this other dude on stream.
Oh wow. Yeah, never give your login details out.
It took a little bit. I think she just, you can check what sort of roles that people have and what sort of permissions they have, and I think it was just she didn't look into that enough. So
yeah,
make sure you know what all of the permissions are and you choose the right people. But your mod team sounds amazing, and I need to get some of them when I get started up again.
Honestly, I'll do it for you when you start up again. You just let me know. But honestly, just find people you trust. That's the important thing. So that's that question.
You might have to come to Facebook though, mate.
That's all right. I could have 2 tabs open. I've already got 10 open at the moment. But yeah. Right, so we've talked for way too long as it is. So, Lukey, where can they find you?
Well, thanks for asking, mate. Right now, you can find me at Lukey Bangerz everywhere. So Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Lukey Bangerz with a Z at the end, not an S, because I'm cool. I wouldn't be cool if I had an S there. But like I said before, at some point probably the only place you'd want to follow me right now is, I mean, you could follow me on Twitch. That's if I do stream on Twitch, that'll be changing. But probably Twitter is the only place I'm kind of active right now. But yeah, stay tuned. At some point I'll have all of my shit together and you'll see some more of the Radman stuff come back again. But right now you can find me everywhere at Lukey Bangerz. I say that I assume all those pages are going to stay the same and just change names, but not 100% sure. But I'll let
hope you get them before someone else does. Yeah,
I always make sure that I go to like namechecker.com and make sure that the name that I want is available everywhere first. So I'll make sure about that. But speaking of that, the Warship, where can we find you, mate?
You can find me all here. Unfortunately, Twitter, no good still. You can find me at the Warship across everything. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere except for Twitter, where I am _Warship, because they won't give me the goddamn thing still. I've tried. No results, because Twitter, like Twitch, doesn't speak to people, unfortunately. And yes, you can find me on Twitch 5 nights a week at twitch.tv/the Warship.
Check him out, everybody.
Go check him out too. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. We really, really do appreciate you. I'm assuming we're logging off for the night. Is that correct?
Yep. No, we do the later stream now, so later podcast, so I'll log off when we finish up. So
excellent. Well, no worries. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thanks, guys.
I'm a Streamaholic, you're a Streamaholic, and now all of you are Streamaholics too. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that show. And if you want to make sure that you stay up to date with everything that Game On Aus has to offer here on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button. That's the best way.